In yesterday's video, I talked about how we get stuck in a bad mood and how to increase our emotional intelligence. Today, I'm going to be taking it a step further and sharing how our emotions control the experiences we are having. Essentially, why the law of sowing and reaping, or the law of attraction, seemingly isn't working. Welcome back to another video. My name is Dom and I help people to step into their truth and power. In yesterday's video, I shared that Albert Einstein proved that everything in the universe is energy. This home I'm in is energy. The trees growing outside are energy. I'm energy and so are you. And our emotions are a reflection of the energy we're feeling within us. The word emotion actually stands for energy in motion. What is going on in the inner being is always being emoted to our outer world. And even if you think you're hiding it from everybody else, that really doesn't matter, because this is really just about a reflection of something else going on inside of you for you to discover. And so yesterday, I shared that our emotions fall into one of 7 levels of energetic consciousness. There are other depictions of this on the web, like the Hawkins scale, which give more levels in more detail, but I really like this illustration for its simplicity for this conversation. And so in yesterday's video, I talked about how the 7 levels represent 7 different emotions. And I want to take this information that I shared yesterday and explain it to you so that you understand what's really going on. You see, we all have what's called an energetic set point. Our set point is typically where you are emotionally the majority of the time. If you're being angry or skeptical of things most of the time, you're living in a lower resonance. If you're in peace and joy most of the time, you're living in a higher resonance. Now, resonance is responsible for what we are attracting into our life. You may be familiar with the law of sowing and reaping, or the law of attraction. Well, when we're doing a lot of sowing and we're not experiencing any reaping or not attracting what we desire, it's usually because there is an aspect of ourselves that is not resonating at the emotional frequency to be able to experience what we want. When we're not in alignment is when we're experiencing resistance. We are usually pushing and trying to control everything, or we're blaming someone or something else for what we're experiencing. When we're in this energy, we emote this out into the world. It's like a frequency we're putting out into the world, and other people who are of like frequency tune in, and you begin attracting those people to you. Now, the overall beingness is demonstrated in the 7 levels of consciousness. But our overall beingness is actually the big cup of life, if you will. And there are actually 4 smaller containers that make up this big cup of life. And each of these cups is essentially a health cup that represents our mindset, our emotions, our spirituality, and our physical body. In order for us to feel really good, all 4 of these cups should be feeling really full. It's what is sometimes referred to as being in alignment. But when one or more are out of alignment, we feel it in that particular cup. That cup becomes depleted in its energy, which has its impact on the capacity of the bigger cup of life that we use to pour into other people's cups with. Also, these 4 cups are in relationship and have influence with one another. When I'm not taking good care of myself physically, it affects how I think and how I feel emotionally, and life becomes so much harder. And so to understand that these 4 cups are the sum of what is in the cup of life. This is the equation to get your cup full. Get these 4 areas feeling really good and your cup will be really, really full. So in order to understand what's really going on with all of this, we've got to start with a premise. And that premise is that there are no mistakes and You are fully responsible for creating your reality. From that premise, let's take a look at how this works. And so in this example, we're going to take a look at two people that went through the same experience. One person is looking at the experience as, oh my God, this is happening to me. This experience is happening to me, and they're low in their victimhood, and they're just not happy, and they're feeling stuck and not knowing what to do. They're down here in the energy scale. They're in fear, they're in contraction, they're in victimhood. And they're sending that frequency out into the world, and they're attracting people just like themselves. And they get talking and they're commiserating, and they attract maybe someone who's angry. They've had a similar experience, but now they're in anger about it. And they're down here and they're, sharing and complaining and blaming other people. And that's where they're at in this energy. And we have this other person who went through the same experience as this person, but they're having a different experience. They're looking at it very differently. They're looking at it, they're living life, they're in joy, their cup is full, they're smiling. They're looking at this situation as an opportunity for them. And in that, they're attracting people who are like them, who are in joy, who are living with opportunity and looking for opportunity. And they even attract a person that's enlightened and living in bliss. And they are together, and it feels like they're just living life, and they're just having a completely different experience than these people over here. But yet, both people experienced the same thing. I experienced this when I was working in corporate America, I experienced this when my company filed for bankruptcy and everybody was laid off. Some people went into this camp and some people went into this camp. And so we have a choice. And so you might be thinking, does this mean that you are responsible for every single experience that is happening to you? Well, we can debate that, and I believe we actually are, but what I really want you to get isn't so much the experience happening to you. In this example, both people had the same experience. What I want you to get here is that you are fully responsible for how you respond to every single experience. We all get to choose if we're going to react to an experience or to respond to an experience. You see, when we are reacting, we are essentially reacting in the moment to whatever our nervous system is feeling at that moment. There is no conscious choice being made. There is no wisdom being used. It's just an emotional reaction, and we act based out of emotion. But when we are responding, we're not reacting in the moment, but we're slowing down our nervous systems to make a conscious choice. And we use our inner wisdom to help us decide how to best respond. What I'm talking about here is having some emotional intelligence. When we're standing in emotional intelligence, we respond instead of react. We're taking a moment to self-assess not just what we're thinking, but more also what we're feeling. We're conscious that our response is going to have a certain effect on the world around us and to our experience. And based on how we react or respond is going to give us a particular result or experience. When we're standing in emotional intelligence, we're actually taking our power back by giving ourselves a chance to choose the experience we want to have. When we're not standing in emotional intelligence and we're in a state of reaction, we're actually turning over or giving our power or choice away. Have you ever heard of the term, I'm losing it? Well, most people relate to that to mean like they're losing their mind. And that could be true. But what it really means is emotionally, what is really going on is that you are losing your power. You are falling out of response and into reaction. You are losing your power. You're giving it away. Now, many of us right now are blaming the bug for what we're experiencing in the world right now. It's so easy to do because so many of us are walking around in fear. I've done it myself. We've all done it at some point over the past year or so. But I've become wise to correct myself. And for the past year, I've been saying, no, that's not the experience I prefer to have. I'm not choosing fear, and my opportunities are not closed off. Even though things appear closed off in the world, I'm not choosing that reality for me. My opportunities have just shifted. My situation is shifting. So that means that there's something new that I need to discover, learn, or embrace, and I'm keeping myself open to learn what that is for me. I'm making the choice not to be angry or fall victim to what's going on in the world around me. But instead, I'm going to believe something really good is going to come out of this for me. You don't have to buy into the fear. You always have the choice to make a decision from a place of fear or from a place of empowerment. For the first half of my life, many of the decisions I made were rooted in that place of fear. Now, when I feel that fear or resistance coming up from within, I acknowledge it, but then I get curious. I turn it upside down and ask myself, how can I empower myself from this experience? What's true for me, and where is the opportunity here for me to learn or to become more resilient and grow or prosper? In becoming responsible for our emotions and becoming more emotionally intelligent, we become much more resilient to the outer forces that are trying so hard to pull us down. And so I want to encourage you, first, have a vision. What is it that you really want? Take a moment to write it down and detail it as clear as you possibly can, and then hang it up somewhere. Because if you don't know where you are going, you're never going to get there. Refer to that vision every single day. Next, I invite you to look at the 5 people you spend the most time with in your life. Where are they on this energy consciousness scale the majority of time? Is being in relationship with you holding you back from living into the vision that you just wrote down? Or is it helping you to achieve it quicker and get you there, get you closer to experiencing that? Now you have a choice. You get to choose. Do you prefer to continue experiencing what you're living now? And you might, and that's perfectly okay. Or do you want to choose something better? If it's the latter, begin up-leveling the people you're circling yourself with. And find people to be an energy that you desire to be experiencing yourself. Next, be mindful of how you're filling your cups. Instead of watching TV and filling your minds with nonsense, essentially, and playing mindless video games, begin reading or researching more online about energy consciousness. I invite you to watch some of the videos I have on my YouTube channel about emotional intelligence or becoming more spiritually conscious. And lastly, now that you know and are aware of all this stuff, that is not enough. Knowing and being aware of this is not going to change a thing for you. You've got to begin putting it into practice. Everything that you're learning here and everything you're going to learn. This picture on this whiteboard, I have it actually printed out and sitting on my kitchen table. It serves as a constant reminder to me throughout the day when I walk out into the main living area of how I want to be. And my boys reference it too. We want to be conscious about our emotions and how we are responding and relating to each other. In the last year or two of working in corporate America, I even kept a picture of this on my phone as well. And so I'm curious, when you look at the 7 levels, where are you the majority of the time? Where are you? What would you prefer to experience? Share it in the comments because I want to be able to support and encourage you. I want you to know that you are so powerful. You really are. The only thing standing between you and your power is recognizing that you actually have a choice. You get to decide. Do you want more of what you're experiencing? Then keep doing what you're doing. If you prefer something different, then do something different. The moment you take responsibility for your emotions is the moment you begin to change your life. If you would like to help change another person's life, please share this video with at least one other person who might benefit from watching and receiving this information. It is my intention to impact as many people as I can in sharing this kind of information right now because this is what the world is needing. There are so many people hurting and in victimhood and angry, and they need to become aware and learn this information. We are all so powerful and we're just not utilizing our emotions to our greatest benefit. And so I would appreciate you taking the time to do that. So until I connect with you again for my next video, stay well, stay healthy, and stay empowered.